If you live in Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia, you do not have to go far to see plastics that are continuously piling up in our front yards, backyards, main roads, side roads, marketplaces, bus stations, and virtually everywhere you go. It is not good, especially at this time of the year where it causes a lot of bacteria-breeding diseases. Each time we take a walk back home from school, we use very unpleasant roads, not because we choose to, but because no difference is seen between the clean roads and the dirty ones.
That's a very serious issue, Thelma. In our country, Zambia, more plastics are being manufactured than they are being recycled. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't be having a situation like the one we are currently having right now. Plastics and waste rubbish are everywhere. One would tend to wonder what the local government is doing about this. Stay tuned as we get to investigate and find out what the local government is doing about this issue.
What's been your experience in garbage collection?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say that garbage collection is a daily program in the sense that waste is generated on a daily basis, and our experience shows that we need to put our system in place to be able to be on the ground and be able to collect the waste and to transport it and to its final destination, which is the Chunga Sanitary landfill. Because when you look at the hierarchy of waste management, the first element of that hierarchy is waste minimization, meaning that by any means as citizens we must try and minimize the production of waste as much as possible. The second level on the hierarchy is avoidance. Okay.
Zambia Environmental Management Agency, talking to one of the officers who work there. So, how are you, madam?
Fine, and how are you?
Kindly tell us a bit about yourself, your position here, and a bit of a background about Zambia Environmental Agency.
Okay. My name is Perini Nkosi Kasonde. I'm a senior inspector in charge of waste, and that includes both general waste and hazardous waste. As Zambia Environmental Management Agency, our mandate is actually to take care of the environment and also to make sure that we protect human health as well as the environment. So the various things that we do to make sure that human health is protected from pollution and as well as the environment being protected from pollution. Yes.
Here now at Chunga dumping site where we are with Mr. Mlenga. Mr. Mlenga is here. He's going to explain what actually happens here at Chunga dumping site. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. Well, basically, this is the Chunga landfill. It's a sanitary landfill. It's a final disposal of waste in the city of Lusaka, meaning that all the waste that is generated in the peri-urban and in the rest of the city comes through to the Chunga landfill. And what we have here is we have a facility on site. We have the landfill itself. That area there is the landfill cell where all the waste is dumped and leveled. So what happens is, as the waste is coming through, there are facilities that enable that waste to be weighed. We call them weigh bridges. The waste will be weighed and then taken into the tipping site. And once it's tipped, we've got machinery on site there which is trying to help with the leveling of the waste. It's a form of treatment. Okay, usually the standard procedure is once the waste is tipped, the landfill compactor, we level it, and the layer of soil is sprayed on top of the waste.
When you look at the environmental management in terms of waste management itself, it's actually a pyramid. When you look at waste, you actually look first at how can I minimize the waste? Do I really need to take this plastic with me or not? Do I really need to use? So those are the principles of environmental management in terms of waste management. So the first thing we look at is minimization. So we do preach minimization. If you don't need it, don't take it. If you don't need it, don't use it. If you want to use it, look at other ways of reusing. If I used it the first time, can I reuse it again? And if I can't reuse it, can I recycle it? If I can't recycle it, what else can I do with it? So when we look at environmental management in light of waste management, that's what we follow as Zema.
Have the citizens been cooperative enough concerning the safe disposal of waste?
To some extent, yes, but to a greater extent, we have challenges. Challenges in the sense that a lot of people are littering indiscriminately, okay, throwing garbage at night in moving vehicles. You understand? Yeah. Otherwise, I would say that 60% of the citizens in the city of Lusaka are complying and they're subscribing. And the 40%, as you can see, the city at some point is not looking very clean as a result of the type of mindset, the type of behavior we have among ourselves. So,
when we took up this challenge, our main focus was to educate our fellow youths on plastics and the 3 R's, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle. But after taking an investigation, finding out, we actually found out 4 major problems, and these are: citizens don't know how to avoid waste, to reduce waste, and the unsafe disposal of waste. And the other thing is, the message of recycling is not really disseminated very well. No one is doing that.
Exactly, Mputa. When we first took up this challenge, our main aim was to educate our peers on plastic recycling and the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. But after our investigation, we saw 4 major problems that which we are facing as a country. Firstly, our citizens do not know how to avoid the waste. This is where they do not understand that plastics are actually durable, meaning they can be used for a longer period of time. Secondly, waste minimization. Our citizens are not practicing this, meaning they just get plastics not because they need them, but just because they have been offered. But if that wasn't the case, if I don't need it, I shouldn't take it, and if you don't need it, you shouldn't take it. The third thing is that how our citizens are actually disposing this waste. They are throwing the degradables and the non-degradables all together in one bin, which makes the work of the recycling companies to be very hard. But if the waste was going to be generated at the point, was going to be separated at the point of generation, even the work of the recycling companies would be very easy. The other thing is the information. Our citizens don't have the information that plastics can actually be recycled. If our citizens were aware of this, maybe they'll think twice on how they dispose this waste, because they actually understand that it can be recycled.
Yes, this actually proves our point. At first I said, won't we be having a situation like the one we are currently having right now? This is proving our point. Stay tuned as we get to ask people on the street on what they understand about waste management and if they understand the issue of recycling. Stay tuned.
Waste management. I believe it's the way you take care of the surrounding, of how you manage the waste, how you store it, or how you keep it before it's disposed of, or how you dispose it.
So from how you've just seen our country, the environment, do you think waste is being handled in a proper way?
No.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because there's litter all around, as you can see. Just behind you here, there's a garbage and it's besides the road. People are passing, they throw litter anywhere. So I think we are far from that.
Understand by waste management?
I think that's the method or rather the way that people keep themselves clean or their surroundings clean.
How do you think it's been handled in our country?
There isn't too much sensitization because not a lot of people know about cleanliness per se. Yeah.
Why do you think our country, Zambia, is not clean?
Okay, I think one of the main reasons is not really so much of sensitization going about people how to control waste management. And the other reason could be, for example, if you look around here, the area is not clean. So if I'm having something, maybe I've got a drink, I'm drinking, I'm done. If I look around the area, I can see it's a dirty area. Obviously, I also just throw. But if the area is initially clean, even you just decide, let me just keep this, I'll throw it somewhere else where you are is actually clean already.
So it's used to manage, for example, if someone throws stuff around like plastics, plastics and all these other foodstuffs. So waste management is a process where people come together to manage that stuff, like throwing those things in a proper way in bins and putting them together so that the surrounding is clean.
And how do you think it's been done in our country, Zambia?
Well, in our country, it's not really effective because there's a lot of litter around.
So what are you doing as a citizen to make sure that the environment is clean?
Well, there's not much I can do as a citizen, but there are times where maybe I could be eating something like I said earlier. Then instead of just throwing it at the nearest place, I'll just hold on to it like I've got a bag. Maybe I'll just keep it there and then dispose it where there's a nearest bin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Managing the waste in the way that they are supposed to be managing it.
The environment is dirty basically because people are not aware. Some people are not aware what happens to the waste that they throw, because we have what we call land pollution. Okay, we've got air pollution. Now if say for example I get some waste and then I just throw it around anyhow on the ground, I'm actually contributing to the pollution of the environment. So people need to be educated. And then we need just to take it upon ourselves.
It isn't clean because most of us are ignorant on how to keep our places clean, and mostly people are very ignorant of such. There's resistance to change, and that's why everywhere you go you find people throwing litter in any place they feel suited.
Do you understand the reducing, reusing and recycling procedure?
Yes, I do.
Do you practice it?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I just dispose of the containers after using them.
Okay. After seeing the problems at which we are facing as a country in order to stop plastic from actually going to waste, we as Team Change came up with solutions that are going to change this thing, that are going to stop this thing from happening. Firstly, waste should be separated at the point of generation, meaning we shouldn't throw different things all together in one bin. These things should be separated and put in different places. The other thing is that we learned from Mrs. Perrin that we actually do have laws that regulate the improper waste management. So what if we had to enforce these laws? If we had to make them vital? I'm sure one wouldn't want to litter anyhow because they're scared that they would actually go to jail for that action.
Yes, Thelma. And in addition, we should have bins which are labeled, and more especially enough bins in town, because we have seen there are we don't have enough bins. Bins which are labeled, the bins for plastic, the bins for paper, and the bin for biodegradable stuff like foodstuffs. On top of that, as team change, our idea is before we clean the cities, we must first of all clean the mindset of people. Cleaning the mindset of people must understand the safe way of disposing that garbage, and they should understand that there's nobility in the duty to care for creation through daily actions such as avoiding plastics. It is amazing how education can change a person's lifestyle.
Proper waste disposal. Meaning, I'm here to let you know, I'm here to let you guys know about how harmful it is to throw things anyhow, or how harmful it is to dispose waste in bad ways. Let's take for instance, we're eating snacks, we're eating out of a plastic. We're not going to throw that plastic bag on the ground. Instead, we pick it up and throw it where? In the bin. Yes, so this is what we're going to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk to you guys about how bad it is to throw that paper on the ground after you've eaten from it instead of throwing it in the bin. So I'm going to let my colleague introduce himself also to you guys.
Hi. My name is Koda Galani. So we are from Lusaka, boys and girls, as she said. We are here, want to interact with you, get to know what you know about waste management. So, does anyone understand the way the waste management?
The council to actually collect the garbage. We just get rid of it by burning it, right? Open burning. But then we know that this is harmful because when we burn those substances, they produce some gases. So if plastics are disposed, they produce some chemicals which are carbon monoxide. And we know that carbon monoxide isn't something that we wouldn't want to inhale because we've also read of the respiratory diseases in biology and any other sciences. So, me and Buddha are here to talk to you guys that we should help reduce the waste. Let us use the 3 R's that are reduce, reuse, and recycle. Because we know that if we had to reduce, reuse, and recycle, there'd be even a lower level of pollution in the country or in the nation, so to say. So this brings me back to...
Yes, and then secondly, one of the ways to deter actually the amount of waste that is ending up at the landfill is to encourage recycling. So we've sometimes linked the utilities or the companies that are producing that particular waste with the ones that are recycling, because most of the time when you are recycling, you want to recycle clean plastics.
So to think of it, yes, you burn those plastics when everyone is asleep, but actually, where is it going? It is going in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is a mess right now. That's why we're having global warming. There's a ozone layer which is protecting this earth from the certain rays which are dangerous to this earth from the sun. So when we burn those plastics, either at night, in the morning, maybe during the day, the gases are actually going up there and they are going to destroy our atmosphere, and we are actually causing what? Global warming. So it is not safe to burn plastics. There are companies which are designated and they have the amount of heat experts who know how to burn those plastics, and they don't burn them actually in open burning. There's a close burning. Yes, plastic allowed to be burned by certain companies which are professionals. They know how to burn them. They know what chemicals are contained there. But as in for me, you are not a professional.
As a country and as a school, we have a problem with the management of waste, because everywhere we go, we can see that most places are clogged, or there's litter everywhere, and this litter mostly it comes from waste products such as plastic bottles, plastic bags, and things like that come from daily usage. When people use, maybe they use plastics or they consume their drinks, they just throw the litter about. So it is a problem. Waste management is really a problem in our country, and it affects me as an individual in a negative way.
My name's Athelma Kutea.
My name's Amputangalande.
And we are Team Change.
Mutabelinga kusanga okwalo kanwa nakukereti kakushikila